Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mummy Means Business podcast. Today, again, I'm joined with my son who's banging in the background. So if you hear any noise, just ignore that. It's just him playing with my makeup box. He's literally just destroying it. That's his favorite toy at the moment. So today is something interesting. I was actually reading an article about the importance of visualizing your future and visualizing what you want in life from a young age in order to have success. And one of the stories that they were saying is Jim Carrey. Obviously, he's a famous comedian and actor, and he was once like a wannabe actor, and he appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1997, and he spoke about his early days trying to make it in the entertainment business. He was broke, he had no future, but he took a blank check and wrote it out for $10 million to himself for acting service, and he dated the check Thanksgiving of 1995. And for years and years and years, he carried that check in his wallet. He'll look at it in the morning and almost project what he wants for the future to receive this $10 million. And 5 years later, he was able to actually secure a starring role in the movie Dumber and Dumber, which he got paid $10 million for that show. So when I was reading the article, I was thinking, wow, this is just a really small example of knowing what you want from a young age and actually saying that this is what I want and wishing that into existence. Obviously, as Christians, we believe in God and we believe in faith and believe in prayer. So I was thinking, how about if putting this in a Christian's perspective, especially for mums who have kids, have a family, and want to have a hustle, want to have a side business, but don't know what that is. So I thought it would be great to have an amazing woman who I've known for years and years and years come on this podcast to discuss this topic. Roza is a wife, she's a mum, and she's also a specialist at Great Lengths UK. You can find her on Facebook. If you just search Roza James hair, you can find her and see her amazing work. And I've known her for many, many years, and she's always been someone who has an encouraging word for anybody. Like, she's a very, very positive person. She knows what she wants, and she's someone who I've actually admired for many years. She's just a go-getter. She's an amazing mum to her beautiful daughter. And I thought it would be great to have her come on this podcast and, discuss this topic. So welcome, Roza.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, of course. AKA Beautiful Rose. So before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the topic, I just want to ask you, how has motherhood been for you? Do you feel like you're raising your daughter in the same way that you were raised?
Motherhood, it's been wonderful, to be honest. Obviously it comes with many challenges, but for me personally, I've actually found it really okay, like really kind of easy. I say that because from a young age, I've always dreamt of my home and being a mum. So from young, in my tradition, in my culture, I'm from Kurdistan, which is the north of Iraq in the Middle East, and you're trained from very young to be a homemaker, and so you're just naturally pick up, and you're just good at building a home, to be honest, like being a wife and cooking and cleaning and just running your house. So I just always dreamt of it from young. So being a mum just came natural to me. I don't know how to explain it.
But you know what? It's good that you're saying that, because even though I'm Nigerian, and in Nigeria you kind of raise your family in similar ways, like to cook and clean. And as a woman, this is kind of not your role in the house, but these are things that you need to know as a woman. I think my mom got lazy with me and my sister. I think she just enjoyed cooking and cleaning, so she was like, I'll do it, don't worry. So when I did become a wife, like being a wife wasn't something that I envisioned from a young age. I knew that obviously eventually I would like to get married, but it wasn't something that was in my mind. So when I did become a wife, I think the transition was a lot harder, and even becoming a mum, it was hard to kind of shift the focus off, be less selfish basically, and be more selfless. But it's amazing how, this is something this is morals that you've instilled in yourself from a young age. Is this something that you're instilling in your daughter as well now? Obviously she's only two. Yeah, two.
Yeah, she's only 2.5. Yeah, I mean, my upbringing, because it was like that, and coming into marriage, um, you definitely, I wasn't perfect, and so I learned my husband learned lots of things along the way. Um, but the way that I was raised, I'm definitely showing those attributes to Liana. Even when I clean, I try to get her involved to help me put things in the washer, put things in the dryer. Um, I got her a Hoover, I got her a cleaning set, I got her um, a sink washing up bowl. So when I'm washing up, she stands on a stool and she washes up her stuff. When I'm cooking, she stands on her stool and she joins me. And I just involve her a lot of what I do. A lot of people do comment and say, she's just like you. She just does, she just, whatever she does you could tell that she's caught it from me. So yeah, I do try to show her how I was raised.
And even if, for the fact that you're instilling it at such a young age, do you feel like, did you ever think, or maybe she's too young to start learning this, or is there no such thing as, being too young to like have to kind of put those values in your children?
Do you know what? I just followed her, to be honest, because when it comes to birthday, Christmas, and just buying things for your kids, you buy toys, and so when I would take her out to playgroups, now she used to always go to the kitchen, and she would go towards just certain items, and so I got her those for home, and so when it came to like washing machine or dryer, she would want to say "mommy here," or in my language. I speak fluent Kurdish to her at home, only Kurdish, and so she says "daya daya," "awa awa." So she wants to do it, and so she'll take it from me, and she wants to put it in. If I try to do it, she will stop me, and she wants to
Oh,
do it herself. So it was on her cues, and because she was showing those things, I then just encouraged and helped it along as well.
but then growing up, did you ever think your life will be like this? Because I know every day I thank God for the life that He's given me, because it's not something that I envisioned. I honestly thought that I will be like, I'll be somewhere in America. I literally remember when I first came church. I think I spoke to you about it when I was like 16, and you laughed at me. And I was like, "Don't worry, in next year I'm gonna go to America. I'm gonna become an actress." And you were like, yes. And you knew, and I was looking at you like, this girl doesn't believe me. Don't worry, I'm gonna prove her wrong. But I never ever thought that, me at 26 will have a home, let alone have a beautiful son, and still have my work, and still have my career, and still be pursuing that. Is that something, the way that your life is now, is that something that you envisioned from a young age?
And Vicky, you're doing a wonderful job. You're
Oh,
doing
thank
a really,
you.
really great
Oh,
job.
thank
You
you.
really are just you're adapting, and you're doing
Yes,
great. That's
that's the
yeah.
word for it. You have to
That's
adapt.
it. You're adapt. Yeah. You're not. So what was your question?
No, I said, did you envision, your life to be the way it is now from when you were young?
So so in honesty, yes, to the T. When I was younger, from a very tiny age, like 7, 8, very, very small, because of my upbringing, I was only around Kurds, so we didn't know any other cultures. I didn't speak to any other type of human that wasn't a Kurd, because we came and migrated from Kurdistan in 1994, and so we all just stayed together, and so that was my community, that was my world, and so that's all I kept seeing was women, households, families, my family, excuse me, my family, um, and so I just dreamt of my home. And the way that I am, particularly, I'm quite reserved and don't have many words. I don't speak a lot.
But when you get going, you get going.
Oh, not publicly. So yeah, so I just dreamt of just a quiet, peaceful life. I having a home, a husband, a wife, um, kids, nuclear family, and me being at home full time, and me raising my children and being there for my husband, and we doing life together. I just dreamt of it from young, very young. And so as I grew up, um, the career that I chose had to be in line with that first. Me being at home first, number one.
So you purposely made sure that the career you pursued would kind of fit the lifestyle that you wanted even before you had that lifestyle.
Yes, yeah. So originally, like when you're younger, you pick so many different careers. I want to be a veterinarian. I
Yeah.
want to, and all that. And so when it came to about 15, I said to myself that I'm not gonna pick something that's not gonna allow me to be with my kids. That I raise them myself. I don't want to bring them to send them off to nursery, to send them off to things. And we thank God for them, but I didn't want to do that from very like tiny age. So from 15, I said to myself, I want to pick something that I can be free. And so when I bring children, I can still work and bring income and do something for myself, but at the same time, I'm fully 100% there for them when I bring them.
But then, like, realistically, how do you manifest that into a reality? Because, obviously that wasn't even on my mind from a young age, but I think, it's important when you said that that's what you saw. That's what you were raised on. Those values were what you were raised on. And those values was kind of what I was raised on. But my mum also pushed, being in, don't rely on men, don't don't be tied down, have something for yourself. So that was always on my mind, like I'm not going to get married till I already have my career, I'm a CEO, I'm this and I'm that. I didn't think that you could have both. Honestly, I didn't think it was possible to have a successful career and do something for yourself as an individual and be a mum, because I didn't see that. My mom was the best mom that she was, but because she was a single parent, she had to work. So there was many times that she wasn't in the house, she wasn't at home. My sister and I had kind of had to fend for ourselves and kind of grow up from a young age. So I didn't get a chance to see women who had that balance, who were able to have a career that they wanted as well as have the family that they wanted. So for you, how was it, manifesting it into reality? Was it really simple to kind of say, this is the career I want to go to, I'm just going to do this. This is family I want to, and then for it to, I'm trying to say, like, saying it is one thing, but actually having it happen is another thing. Like, what was that transition like?
So yeah, don't get me wrong. My mum, so like you, I came from a single parent home. My dad died when I was one, and so my mum and my sister came here in 1994, and because of my mum's experience, us and her bringing us here, she had a lot of hopes and dreams for us, and she really and she used to be a teacher in my country, and she's very pro education. She will encourage you to um to study, to do the best at school, and have a stable career. And as I was growing up, I was really good at business, and and I got A's and I did really well. And so what I did was when I finished at 16, I went to college um, in um, in London, and I did business and I got high marks and uni to do business. So originally at 15, I wanted to do hair, and so I got a Saturday job in a salon, and I would work and put that little bit of money aside and do and was doing that. But then I thought, oh, got I'm gonna be a hairdresser. I want my own salon or my own business one day. I have to know business and be entrepreneurial. So that's where I deviated and kind of just went went with doing business, like encouragement as well from my family that we have to finish our studies, we have to finish our education, especially uni, was very very encouraged in my culture. So because of all of that, I just kind of deviated and went to college, went to uni, and then um yeah, and then I suddenly, it was during uni that I realized that wow, I've actually just gone off like from the original plan of why I'm doing this and what I'm doing this for. And that's when I was about 21. I decided to leave uni and go back to hairdressing. I found a salon.
So it was even after you're married then. So after you got married, you're still kind of studying, and you just kind of had an epiphany like, this is not what I originally planned, and you went back to your original. How was it? How easy was it to do that? Was it quite like straightforward to kind of go back to your original plan?
Because first I had to break it to my family, so I was actually allowed to marry if I finished uni, and so that was the deal. But during my second year, at the end, is when I decided I can't do this no more. It just wasn't for me. My heart was in hairdressing and doing hair, and I just had to do it. And with the help of God, that He just gave me strength to speak to my family, and my husband was behind me, and I'm a very driven person. Both me and my husband are very entrepreneurial, and that's what really connected us when we were before we started dating. We were both doing business, and we're both very determined individuals. And so he knew that when I said to him that I'm not doing uni, he wasn't worried at all. He knew that I was going to find a job, find a course, get back on track, do my hair, and just fly. And
And you
so
did.
because of and because yeah, because of his support, I within a month found an academy. I found the the best salon. I went to Mayfair, which is in West London. It's the very high end salon to do my training and work. And I was there.
But then, do you know what? It's true what you're saying, because I remember when I was at uni, I went through a period because, well, before I went to university, I've always had a vision of kind of pursuing a career in acting. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna act. And then I think when I was about 17, 18, it kind of, my career focus kind of changed. I think my mum was also on me like, you need something stable, you need something that will give you an income every month. You're gonna make, you're gonna make money every month. Don't do something that is, even though it's your dream, don't do something that's risky. So I literally had no idea what I wanted to do, no idea whatsoever. I think I was kind of a one trick pony, but I wasn't even thinking of my future life. I was just thinking of now. And I wanted to go into nursing, and I remember like applying for different universities. I even got into a few universities. I think I got into UCL and another university for nursing. And I was just thinking, but the only reason I was doing that, honestly, was because you didn't have to pay for university, so I didn't want to have to pay the money back. And my mum was a nurse as well. But then I realized I hated that career, wasn't for me. So randomly, that's why I know that God had my back the whole time, because I've always been a person who loves speaking. I've always been a person who, I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. I've always been someone who's like, okay, what's next? I've always wanted to learn different skills. Yeah, I was very driven, and if there were, but then I was driven, and then like if I see something on TV, for example, and I'm like, oh, I could do that, I'll literally go online and figure out how to do it, and then try to find a way to turn that into an income. So I managed to get an opportunity to go to. I literally had to go through clearing on the last day, I think, of college. I think on the last day of the deadline, you have to wait until everyone got in, and I had to call different universities and see what course was open, and I found a course in marketing and PR, and I thought, oh, I don't even know what that is, but that should be fun. And when I was in university, I actually really, really enjoyed the course. And I remember saying this in my first year. I said, I'm going to have a PR company. Like, this is something I'm going to do. I'm going to start a PR company. I'm going to help, businesses get exposure in press, get exposure, through social media, etc. And I remember 2 years later, this is while I was in uni, I was talking to one of my friends, and then we were just like, yeah, what's the harm in doing it? I was like, what's the harm? I was like, let me just get 1 year's experience and then I'll do it. And I was just saying it. At this point, I had no idea what PR was, no idea what marketing was. I kind of went, I was in uni for maybe like 6 months or so. I've gone through to a few courses. I've maybe watched a few TV shows about, PR companies, but I didn't really know. But that was something in my mind that I was like, I really want to work for myself. I don't want to be a person who works for somebody else for the rest of their life. And then literally, after I graduated uni, I worked for a year, and after a year, I opened my PR company, and it was something that was really scary, something that I never even knew how to kind of take the first step. I think someone took a chance on me. It was actually Bemi, one of my friends. She has a wedding design business now, and she was launching her first collection, and she was like, oh, Victoria, would you help me? And I was like, how do you trust me? I'm literally just a graduate, just been working for 6 months. But she trusted me to kind of help with the promo for her runway, and it actually worked out really well. And it also enabled me to have a career where I can be a mum and I can be a wife. So that all kind of worked out on its own. I didn't really have that vision in my mind, but I knew that I knew in my mind that I wanted to do something like this, but I didn't know what exactly. But God literally just guided me. But then now, after I had a child, my plans changed, because even though it allows me to have a career and have a child, I feel like I'll be working too much and not be around Xavier. So now I'm back in that limbo, like, oh, I don't know what to do with my life. But with you now, after having Liana, and now you're having your second child, do you think your plans for future career might change, or is everything that you're doing kind of still accommodating that life?
Yes, with hairdressing will always be a skill that's in my hands that I can always do. With two babies now, it's going to be a bit difficult because it's mobile service, so I go to people's homes, and very few are allowed into my home. I'm not very open like that, but I go to mainly their home, and so obviously I can't take children, or especially after the maternity. Sorry, during maternity, I've got maternity, and I won't be working. So I'm thinking of doing something else because the more children that I have, it's going to be a bit tricky to do that, to do hair like as freely as I am doing now. But it's definitely something that I'm always forever gonna be doing. So it's a case of just opening up my books where I'm doing hair, and I'm gonna do something new as well alongside of it. So that's coming very soon.
And this skill is, that's what one thing that you said is, when you learn a skill that can take you anywhere in the world, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter how many kids you have, you can always still get an income from that skill. So even if Rosa, you have 10 children living in a mansion somewhere in Hertfordshire, you can still have this skill that you can use. But do you think that there is, doing this podcast, this is the second series now. The first series, I was able to interview 10 different moms, just talking about their business. And this series, I wanted to do something different and just have specific topics to kind of talk about. But and then in speaking on this, I was thinking, is there a shame on women who, from a young age, just want to be a mum and have no side hustles, nothing, and just their focus is to be the best parent, to raise their child and to be a homemaker? Like, I feel like, nowadays in society, there's 100 million ways to make money through social media, through online, through having your own business. And I feel like if you're a mum and you don't have you don't want to, you don't have the desire to have a hustle to make money. There's kind of like, oh, you must be lazy or something. But is there a shame on women who just want to be mums and nothing else?
Mm. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Definitely. There's definitely in the world, because we're Christians and we're not of the world, but in the world they have this stigma that you are nothing because all you're doing is raising kids and you're at home. But it's the most hardest job that is 24 hours. You never have a break that you can just clock off, you finish at 5. So of course not, there should be never a guilt for being a full-time mum. And it's something that um I have learned and I'm very passionate about, that you don't need to have anything to kind of give you worth more than just being a mum, because that's the most greatest job. But when I first so my husband was asked to pioneer church, and so we went out to a different town outside of London, from where we were from, to open up. And so um when he decided when we decided to do that, thank God he was in a place financially to sustain our household alone, just him. So um, a few years back, I've been at home, and so when we decided to do that, is when we decided to start for a family, and this was back in 2015. And bless the Lord, it never worked out so perfectly for us. And so what I did was I just launched my business, and I worked very hard, and I um, developed a successful business from nothing in a foreign town where I didn't know anyone at all. And once I opened, it just took off. Um, but at that time, during the takeoff, where it started flying by itself, and me actually and when I launched, there was times where I would be meeting people around the area, or just people in general I'll be speaking to, and they'll ask me, what do you do? Okay, I'm a housewife, or we're pioneering, I'm supporting my husband. And I used to get a lot of strange looks, like, you're 25, what do you mean you're a housewife? And there's like a stigma that comes with it, um, that you're a homemaker, and so easily you could feel very, sort of like insecure, that those roles like mum or housewife, they're insignificant. Um, Obviously for me, I was heading towards having a business, and like and being and like, how can I explain, like lost my
Like,
words, like having a business. But it's just and until the day that it just took off, I was getting those kind of comments. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of looks.
but then how did that make you? Did that make you feel like, oh, okay, maybe I need to have something? Because it is true what you say. When people ask you, oh, what do you do? And your mum, people think, oh, you're just a mum, like, is there anything else you do? And if even if you do something else, I feel like people now lead, like, even me, sometimes I find myself leading with my job role, and the things, all the side hustles that I have, before I lead with I'm a mum. Because I feel like, oh, if I say that I'm a mum, or if I say that I'm just a mum, they'll be like, oh, but we're living in the age now where you can be anything, where you can even be even when you're at home with your child, you can have an online business, you can start this, you can start that. Like, how come you're not thinking of that? But it's like, why can't I just be what I am? Like, I think what you said is true. Like, being a mom is probably the hardest job role you can have, because it is 24/7 with no break, and that doesn't take away from your role in, like, in the house. Because literally, I was telling my sister the other day, I was like, I was mocking, I was like, I've turned into a house girl, because I was like, I can't wait to go back to work and just have someone else help me with my child. I know that's really bad to say, but that's literally how I feel. Because I wake up in the morning, I go to bed at 11. I'm up by 6. I have to clean the house, make breakfast, make sure Xavier's bathed and ready for the day, make sure my husband has some lunch, tidy up the house again, do some laundry, dry the laundry, tidy up the house again, make sure my son's put to bed, make sure my son's entertained, take him out, all that. And it's like, that's so much work to do. That is so much hassle. And when I leave, when I can't be bothered to go out and I leave him at home, I feel bad because I'm like, oh, he hasn't even like gotten fresh air today. He hasn't even seen outside. Okay, let me take him outside for a bit. But then I'm like, oh, I have to be back by this time before my husband gets back because I have food on the table so he has some dinner. And if I don't prepare dinner, then I feel bad because it's like, what have I been doing at home all day? But I've been doing all of this at home. So I'm actually, even though it's really bad to say, I'm looking forward to just getting some break,
Mm, mm.
even if it's for half of the day. And I really, really rate women who actually make the choice to stay at home, because it's a harder decision to stay at home than it is to go back to
To
work.
work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there shouldn't be no shame that if you're just a full-time mom and you've got just the one, and some have got two,
I
three,
know.
four, and
Oh,
they carry on, and so what shame is that? You've got how many mouths, how many beings that you're trying to keep alive.
yeah.
So no, not at all, not at all. For me, the reason why from young that yes, I wanted to be a mum at home with my kids and look after my husband. The reason why I wanted to have something on the side is for me. So it's so that so I'm not like disconnected from the outside world,
Yeah.
that I'm still living in reality. Because what can happen is that you live in you can start to create your own little world, like own little bubble. Like you have your friends, you go out to your play groups, your things, and and you go out with family, and so then you're not around different types of people, and not connected to like reality. And so that was for me. That's why I said I wanted to continuously work, and also that I'm not just talking baby language all day and changing diapers
Yep.
and etc. Because I've only got one, and I want to carry on to have more. And one is coming, but carry on to have more, God willing. But I can easily just be in a routine where I'm just doing babies all
And
day,
you kind of lose yourself
24/7.
in that.
And you're just around your friends, you link up with your friends, like how in play groups, and have people around in the evening that are friends or family. And that's not real life. You need
Yeah.
to be out in the community, in the world, and be with others that just are not like you. It's good for you and your sanity as well. Well, that's what I think anyway.
No, do you know what, that is so true, because even me sometimes I can't be around this, if mums that are not my friends, sometimes I can't be around them too much because all we talk about is babies, because that's the only thing we have in common. Like, oh, my baby's rolling, oh, my baby's walking, oh, my baby's got teeth, or my baby's got 10 teeth, and it becomes almost a competition, like whose baby's developing the best and the fastest. But then if I'm around, women who are mums that are my friends, we can separate that talk. We don't have to only speak about our kids. We can actually speak about the current affairs, speak about life and reality. So that's why sometimes, even during my maternity leave, I have to, I'm particular in taking time off, going to certain play groups, and taking time off in not being around Xavier all the time, and being around women who don't have children, being around women who aren't married, just so that I get like that whole life, like, just so I can talk about, that's the word, get a better perspective on life rather than it just be one track. But then how important it is to kind of plan. And my mom used to always say, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. She always says that to me about life or whatever. But how important it is to kind of prepare and plan your lifestyle and the life that you want to live from a young age, rather than just winging it as you go along, which is what I did.
Yeah, so two things I would say is have a definite clear vision, actually three things. Have a definite clear vision on like the lifestyle that you want to have um when you're older, 28, 29, 30, going into your 30s. What kind of life do you want to live? And that could be, do you want to be at home full time and just be dedicated to that, or do you want to have equal balance between part-time work, or what kind of life? And then also, just even in general, in terms of financial freedom, what kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want to be do you want to have assets and be financially free and not be always working until that you hit 70? Or do you want to um be financially free from a younger age, earlier? So it's very, very important to know or have a vision of what kind of life you want for yourself. And so then you make decisions, and it keeps you in line, in track, in trying to get to that end destination, that end goal. Life isn't perfect, and so you deviate, like I've explained that I went off track a little bit, and then God helped me and brought me back, and even for yourself. And so it isn't perfect, but if you can, and I'm from my life example that I can look to, is because from a young age I made that choice, that I knew exactly what kind of life I wanted, and I knew what kind of career that would allow me to have the life I want to live. So is having a clear vision for a lifestyle that you want to live, and also bearing in mind that time is very, very important. If you're a person that starts to pick up this, pick up that, be a jack of many trades but a master of none, you are cheating yourself, because it actually affects your credibility. It actually affects how you look to others, and also just your steps ahead. I know that the world is forever developing, and as the world moves on, you go with it. But if you are picking up this, doing this course, I'm doing a vet course, and I'm doing a photography course, and I'm doing a makeup course, and you're doing all these things, but you never master it, and you never just tune in into one thing or two things and just dedicate yourself to it, you're not allowing yourself to see the potential, like, of the success that you can have in it. So yeah, just finding what you like, and just going through it, like full dedicated to it. Yeah. And also, if you choose something that you really enjoy, you'll never work a day's work in all your life. Like, you'll never have to work because you love what you're doing. Yeah.
But you know what? That's what the second thing that you said. I think that's the biggest lesson that I have ever learned in business. Not being a jack of all trades, but being a master of one. Because when I was growing up, I've always liked to, when I see something, I'm like, oh, let me try it, let me try it, let me try it, let me try it. And I tried a million of different things. Even, when I was at university, every summer I had an internship in a different company, because I was like, oh, I don't know what I like, let me try different things. But until I focused on PR, I think I wanted to do something. I wanted to go into a career that I enjoyed, but I wasn't good at, versus the career that I enjoyed and I was good at. And I think until I really focused on a career that not only I enjoyed, it came naturally to me, but I really was good at, and I only focused on that alone, and I dropped all the other little side hustles that I was doing. That's when I really saw true success, and that's when I saw true income, and that's when I actually saw that, okay, this could be something that I can do if I really, really focus all my time on it. It could be something that I can do as a full-time career, and just have that as passive income, and like work while I'm young, while I have no responsibilities, and then potentially grow my business, have employees, so I can just sit back and just not be not working too much but still see the income. And I think someone said that to me as well, and I was like, I never saw it as that. I thought, oh, why not have a skill in everything and see what you like. But actually, if you focus on one thing, that's when you see the true success. So that's probably one of the biggest lessons, if anyone should learn to learn, especially in this podcast we're talking about visualizing success from a young age. If from a young age you see your life as a certain way, and you plan it and say, okay, in order for me to get my life to this, here is the steps that I need to take. If you just focus on those steps, you will end up getting to where you need to get to. But it's when you kind of deviate and go here and there and here and there and here and there, and then you get to that end goal and you think, oh, why am I not seeing what I want? Why am I not seeing the success that I envisioned from a young age? It's probably because you didn't focus on it. So it's all about focus. It's all about focus. But yeah, thank you so much, Rosa. You've been absolutely great. I loved having you. Everything is so much nuggets.
What I would also add is, if you can add it, is that not everyone is going to wave in their banner for your vision. So you might get people that don't understand what you're doing because it's not happening right now. It might be in like 3, 4, 5, 6 years time, but you just give them a nice little smile and say, "Oh,
Don't worry.
oh,
I'll watch you.
you're at home with your baby. Oh, is that what you do?" And then you know what you're doing. You know your home. You know your future. What you've got planned, and so yeah, just to brush them people off because they can have an effect on you. Because if you not everyone is encouraging. Let's say it like that.
It's true. It's true. And and also don't tell everyone what you're doing, sometimes. Sometimes just do your thing in secret and let the success speak for itself. Sometimes, people have an opinion which is, good and bad, but people can put you off what you want to do. So just do whatever you want to do.
Definitely, especially from a young age, as we're speaking about.
Yeah.
From a young age, you're telling them that I want to do this, and you're like 16. How can a 16, 17, you're 18 know what they want in life? Of course they can. That's what makes them an individual. And so they can foresee when they're 28, 29, 10 years from now, what they would like. And that's why we have to be careful and mindful of our words.
Yeah. But one more question before you go. If you had to give an advice to, someone who's either in your position, who has a family, is a homemaker, has a business on the side, or has a vision of what they want their life to be in the next few years, what advice would you give them to kind of find the way to have the career that they want and the family that they want and find that right balance?
Oh, it's perspective, like we said before, is never forget the reason why. Because obviously this podcast is for mummies and business. Never to forget the reason why you have a side hustle, that you're doing it, yes, for yourself, but you're doing it for your children first. And if it's taking you away from your home and sacrificing their time because of you're trying to build an empire career, then you've lost perspective. Like, stay on with the right frame of mind, that you're doing it so that you're fully involved in their life and also for yourself as well. But yeah, always keeping on the vision, like on perspective.
Do you know what? I just love you, Rosa, because that has been something that I even needed to hear. If what you're doing is taking, like, it's true, I have a business because I want to be able to provide for my family, and I want to be able to do something that my son and my children can be proud of. But if what I'm doing is taking me away from them, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? So
Do you know what, there's a letter by the founder of Apple. If you actually
yes, I saw that. It was all over Instagram.
And what does it profit when we gain a lot? Because we can have like um we can have like loads of nice things, and definitely I love those things. But you would ask my very close friends, I do love my things and my holidays. We do like nice things, but always you have to have the right um the right perspective, like, and that's what balance is all about as well, just having the right balance between home life, kingdom business, and work life.
And that's it. That's literally we'll end on that. Perfect way to end. Thank you so much, Rosa. You've been so amazing. Dropped some nuggets, wrote loads of things down. Even it's been really helpful for me as well. Like, even me doing the podcast is all for me to learn, not just for, the woman or whoever's listening to it to learn, but for me too. And thank you all so much for listening. I hope this encourages you to visualize success. You're never ever too old to visualize what you want to do in the next 10 years. I'm still trying to figure out my life as well, so I'm definitely going to go back on this podcast and really figure out where I want to be the next 10 years and how I'm going to achieve that, and still not lose perspective on what really matters. Keep an eye out. We have new episodes every week. Make sure you subscribe so you can receive a notification once the episode has been released, so you can listen to it first. Don't forget to check out Roza on Facebook, Roza James Hair. You can find her there. She's a specialist at Great Lengths UK. She's an amazing hairdresser, so check her out. Have a look at her pictures and feel free to contact her if you need any consultations. I'm sure she'll be happy to help. And thank you all for listening, and see you again soon. Bye.